Nelly. Hello and happy Sunday. How dare I show up here unprepared for my own video? The nerve of me. I know it's pretty amazing, right? I was just here last night. Or were you dreaming? Happy Sunday and welcome to the show. No telling with all of my technical issues over here what I've possibly might have done with my phone, with my computer, with anything else. So we'll wait and see if some people hop on here, so to speak, because nobody's here yet. Nobody even noticed that I got up and got my water. Okay, I touched my computer. I have everything rigged just so. And now I'm touching stuff. Okay. Got that turned off and taken care of. It's hot. It is 9 p.m. At almost 9 p.m. here. It was still 86 degrees, so I think I'm taking a couple of days off from landscaping. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? I don't know. I have never been here for 2 minutes and not had anyone show up. So I don't know what's going on. Other than pure hotness. Hello, someone is here. And welcome. We'll see how long I can make it here without overheating between the temperature in my apartment and the O-ring, which puts out some very intense heat. Speaking of very intense heat, sometimes I think we have a planet full of vampires right here, right now. Okay, I know not all of you are vampires. Maybe some of you are wannabe vampires. And by vampires, I mean sucking off of, living off of, squeezing joy out of other people's energy field because you don't have any of your own. Hello, Stefan. Hello, Heron. I am good. How are you? Okay, let's get this party started here. So, yes, and hello. My name is, maybe you named yourself after that song. Yes, exactly, emotional vampires. So I thought about titling this video, Is Earth Just a Planet Full of Vampires? And I thought people might get the wrong idea, and who knows who might show up on this video if I titled it that way. So I never know exactly what's going to come through. So I usually title the video afterwards. Where is my husband? That's a really good question. If you see him, tell him I said hi. Maybe you live near him. Hello, 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 California. So you guys, with this O-ring, it really blocks out the comments unless you're a person that's normally here, and I know what your little face icon looks like. It's hard for me to read under what I like to call the FBI crime light. Now, let me see if I can make my computer stop making noise as I'm touching it. Are we living on a planet full of vampires? Well, not exactly full of vampires, but we definitely have a lot of that going on. Okay, so first of all, it's incredibly hot in here, and to add to that measure of hotness, and I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about that little solar fun ball of fire in our sky let off an X-class solar flare yesterday, and 69, yeah, you heard that right, 69 M-class solar flares. That will make you hot if you're in the summer. It'll add heat to your hotness. It may make you feel dizzy, like you need to lay down, all kinds of things. Most of you are aware that we are in a very incredible time and space, and the time and space continuum when it comes to the rotation and spiral of our sun and the current solar cycle and spiral that we're in. So, are we living on a planet full of vampires? No, but we definitely have a lot of it going on. I'm not going to give you a number, that wouldn't be fair. Yes, yes, I will marry you. So, how do we lift our vibration? Is the question. And a lot of you already know the answer to this. We raise our vibration by doing anything that brings our personal frequency to the level of joy. So maybe baseball for one person, that may be soccer for another person, it may be swimming in the ocean for another person. Like me, it could be dancing, it could be singing, all of this stuff. So it's so important that we raise our own vibrational frequency and have our own love for self, our own joy in our own life. Like, we can't meet someone and expect them to be the deliverer of joy. Okay, so how do we lift our vibe? Anything that raises our frequency, anything that makes us smile, anything we do where we're like, oh wow, I just lost track of 4 hours worth of time. Anything that you can do to raise your frequency, to make yourself smile, to feel joy in the heart, in the soul, raises the frequency. Now, why is this important? Because if you don't raise your frequency, you're looking for people external to you, situations external to you, job, money, whatever it is, to bring you joy. Okay. And while you might be happy to get a raise, and you might be happy to be engaged, you might be happily have gotten a promotion at work or whatever, these things are, joyous occasions, but they're not internal personal joy. So anything that brings you joy, anything that raises your personal frequency. Now, what we don't want to do here is confuse joy with addiction, greed, or any other self-sabotaging energy. Joyful activities are the space in which you literally are smiling, feeling joyful, and lose track of time. Okay, so we usually discover at a really young age, probably 3, maybe 4 or 5, depending on you, what makes us happy, whether it's a zoo in the backyard, dancing, singing, acting, baseball, again, whatever it is. The reason it's so important to find our own personal joy is if we don't learn how to sustain our vibration and find our own personal joy, then we're looking for other things to do that, to make us feel good. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, right? For some people, it may be real estate or money or gambling or whatever. So just don't confuse your internal compass of joy with addiction, greed, sex. I'm not saying joy doesn't come through some other things external to you as a byproduct. Learning how to find our own joy means I learn, and I'm constantly studying what food makes my body run the best, what exercise makes me feel the strongest, makes me feel the happiest, how much sleep do I need to thrive, what kind of relationships do I need to thrive, what kind of activities do I like, what do I want to do. Hello, Anita, and welcome, guys, and happy Sunday night for those just tuning in, and that is many of you. I seem to lose my brain when I get hot. We are talking about the energy of vampires, not literally, but symbolically on planet Earth right now, and why it's important to learn how to sustain your own inner balance, personal peace, and joy. Because no situation, no person, place, and thing, no marriage, no winning lottery ticket is going to give you that internal joy. And I'll tell you, there are so many reasons why this is important. But we really discovered this when we're young. And I touched on this last night. Think back to your childhood. Were you totally obsessed with baseball in your childhood, or roller skating, or like me, I would get the tape deck out and I would wait all day and all night, not like you young people have it so easy, wait all day and all night with the tape recorder to record the song that you wanted to sing and then try to sing along with the tape and record that, because not because I even shared it, because I rarely did, but because that gave me so much incredible joy to sing and to dance. When you were a child, you understood perfectly what gave you joy, what brought you joy, and what made you want to share joy with other people around you. So, if you only think back to your childhood, you'll realize that there were those things that, even as a child, brought you many, many hours, months, weeks, years of joy. And we get away from those joyful things because we're taught all of these things. I'm supposed to graduate from high school. I'm supposed to get a college degree. I'm supposed to get married. I'm supposed to, right? So when we're a kid, we know what brings joy. We start to lose it when we get dictated to us by our peers, maybe our parents, our relatives, school facilitators or administrators, college professors, what we're supposed to be doing. So you knew that as a child, you had a great feeling of joy and ecstasy as a child by doing things that brought you joy. It is so important for me to find my own personal joy and not rely on a person, place, thing, or situation outside of myself to give me joy. Okay? So, what happens when you're around people? We all know people, family, friends, coworkers, maybe even your grumpy spouse, okay, that has a lack of joy, or they are perhaps joy deficient. Okay, so joy deficient people, the deficiency of joy, will do two things when they are deficient or devoid of joy. Okay, they will slide into one or two polarities. They will either go drop down into a state of sorrow and pretty much festivity. So when people lack joy, they will drop into sorrow and or festivity, okay? And mind their own business, or hermit away, or read books, or only talk to people online. Okay, that's one group. The other group with a deficiency in joy will use people around them to supply that joy. They will use those people and those situations. Okay, now when we talk about using situations, we're talking about like gambling, or maybe tabletop dancing, or drugs, alcohol, whatever. And, I'm not saying to stay completely abstinent. I'm saying there's got to be a balance. People deficient in joy will either drop into their own sorrow and just live in a vat of festivity and negativity. You all know people like this. Or they will suck the energy right out of anyone around them that has discovered how to have joy internally without people, places, and situations. That's why this is so important, and this is going somewhere. That's why I thought about making the title, Is Planet Earth a Planet Full of Vampires? We know that they're not, but I'm referring to, as someone in the comments said, energetic vampires, people who are joy deficient, who never found that joy or balance, do not sustain that joy by doing the things they love, start living in a state of anger, festivity, and resentment, or they use other people and they put themselves in situations or around other people that they can use that person's joy to feel something for themselves. The thing is, then we get addicted to people, just like we can get addicted to drugs or alcohol or gambling or anything else. This is not supposed to be a gambling video. Know when to hold up and know when to walk away. Know when to run. Okay, Willie Nelson has left the building. But if you don't figure out how to find and sustain that joy for yourself, and you find it in me, or you find it in your coworker, or you find it in something external to you, you won't hold it, right? And this is how people get into situations where one person really likes the other person, okay? Or one person's in love with the other person doesn't feel the same. But if that person has figured out the person that doesn't feel the same, that is not in love, if they have found and sustained their own joy, the only reason that other person wants to be around them is because they absorb that joy, that love frequency, that high vibe, right? The hippie's been talking about this, guys, since the 60s, okay? So it's really important for us to find our own joy, okay? And there may not be that many people here listening that are the ones that are siphoning that joy or that high frequency off other people. But any of you here watching that have that high frequency have experienced or are now experiencing the fact that people are around you just to take your energy. So let's say you're around somebody at work that wants to be next to you all the time, and you may have a job where that's possible for them to be around you or by your side all the time. So what happens is when they're not at work, when they can't be around you, they may want to call you. They may want to text you morning, noon, and night. And the reason that they're doing that is because of that joy frequency that you radiate that they haven't found balanced and sustained within themselves. So they start to rely upon or get hooked on someone else's energy. All of this is happening to all of us to one extreme or another. So just know that those two groups of people, the ones that are joy deficient, are either going to be negative and live in their stew of negativity, negative energy, resentment, lack, depression, whatever it is. And they are looking for a way outside of themselves to stay in joy. So if I go to work and I'm a joyful person every day, no matter what the weather, no matter what's going on, then people want to be around me just because I'm joyful all the time. Which the reason that happens is so that person can figure out, wait a second, but how does Tina keep an even keel or balance of joy? And that's why we have to work on ourselves and figure out what kind of food works for us, how much sleep we need, how much exercise we need, what kind of exercise we need, what gives us joy, how do we run the best, right? If we're a soul dropped down into this 3D body, the idea is essentially we are an athlete, all of us, from one degree to the next. And we have to figure out what runs the body the greatest for us internally so that we're not walking around sucking everyone's energy all the time. Now, I think it's probably more people watching this video that are having their energy drained by other people than you actually going out and draining it. But people will even do that when I go live. That's the reason why when I'm bringing you a message after the first 3 minutes, I don't look at your name and I don't look at the comments. So you could be saying the most beautiful thing ever. You could be nasty and mean to me because it happens every time I go live. But that's why I don't look down, because I'm staying in the high vibe frequency, that which delivers the message. Because if I drop down into the frequency of you saying something negative about me, I lose the frequency where the message is streaming into me, right? It's like if I have a cable company or a Wi-Fi company, I can't pull the message through if I unplug the computer. So when I look at your negative, upsetting, purposely upsetting comments, I would say most of the time, which I've not seen in the last two videos, and I appreciate that. But they are there almost every time I go live. And knowing how to find my own joy, right? How to create and self-sustain my own joy means if I'm going to bring a message, then after the first 3 minutes, I can't look down at the comments and interact with you because it will take the frequency that I'm currently flowing on to deliver the message and drop it down into a frequency where the message no longer exists. And that's why it's so important for you to figure out how to create, how to mainline, and how to hold on to your own high vibe, whether that's baseball, journaling, singing, dancing, whatever that is. Because those joy deficient people will come along and take whatever they can give from you. That's why I started out this video by saying, is this a planet full of vampires? Because those who are joy deficient look for external reasons, and most of the time that means taking the joy from those that are around them. But it's never enough. It's not like someone can be around your joyful high vibration for 20 minutes and say, oh wow, now I feel joyful and I feel inspired and I'm going to go out and do something. That's not usually how it works. They have to come back to you or back to that other person or back to that situation that gave them that feeling of joy, that feeling of high. Okay? They get addicted to your energy and your frequency when they haven't figured out how to find and sustain their own joy. I made some potato soup like 3 days ago. I've been eating it for 3 days straight. It's way too hot to eat that. And speaking of way too hot, I put so many spices in it. That's why I cannot stop drinking water. Okay, I've drank that whole thing already. Okay. We must find the joy and the balance within. It's a process of self-discovery. What balances you? What brings you joy? If you don't figure it out, you will use other people's energy to fill that need, that empty space, that void of joy within you. And people will use you just for that joy. And if you don't find that joy internally and personally yourself, you will use those other people for joy. So it's very important that we stay balanced in this and not let people suck that energy. I will tell you that it's a really hard thing. It's a really difficult thing. I've been going around and around in a situation for almost 9 months. It's gotten increasingly challenging and difficult to handle, to deal with. Okay, so part of my challenge is this is a work-related thing. And sometimes you may not know, is that person, are they aware that they're using you, right? Are they aware that they are an energy vampire? Are they doing it intentionally? Is it subconscious? Is it totally unconscious? Because at first I thought in my situation, and many times before, that it was unconscious or subconscious, okay? So they were doing it and doing it, doing it and doing it and doing it well, if you know that one. They were doing it and they continue to do it as long as you allow it. Now, you don't have a whole lot of choice here. You can't just exit this. You don't want to just exit the situation without speaking your truth. Believe in yourself first before anything. Yes. And part of believing in yourself comes from really spending some time alone and really getting to know yourself. As I said, what brings you joy? What makes you lose track of time? What makes you happy? What makes you smile ear to ear? It's very, very important. It's so important for us to use the throat chakra to be able to speak to people, right? And not in a way that's harmful, but sometimes it's hard because sometimes you may tell someone, you may set a boundary and they cross the boundary. Then you set another boundary and they cross another boundary. And they just keep doing it and doing it and doing it, doing it and doing it and doing it well. So you may know or you may not know, is this person at work or my neighbor, are they doing it on purpose? Or do they just not realize that they are joy deficient and use other people to suck their energy off of? It's important for us to learn to speak our truth, which is really just a way of saying, I have to stand up for myself. I actually went to a job last week, and this has been going on for almost a year, but very difficultly for the last at least 3 or 4 months with someone that I work with upon occasion. So we're standing there in front of the client and the other employees, and this man looks at me and says, yeah, that's why I keep Tina on the job. She has such great energy, such a great vibe, that I just suck off of her energy vibe so I can feel better, just like a vampire. And I said right in front of the client and the other employees, yes, I know, and I've been meaning to speak to you about that. No matter what boundaries I lay down with this man, he does not stop, right? I've told him I have a boyfriend. I've told him all kinds of things. So I work with him. He is 20 years older than me. So he is certainly old enough to understand what he's doing, what his actions are. We must learn to speak that before we walk away. So I got angry with him and blew up the other day and told him I need work-life balance. Actually, that's what my 29-year-old son told me to tell him. So I did that first. And then I said, I need a time and a date and a place and a job from you. What I don't need are messages morning, noon, and night. And that, I thought he finally got the message when I said work-life balance, personal time, not messages morning, noon, and night. So he didn't speak to me for 2 days. Then he showed up on a job where I was working that he was actually not working. And I was cordial and polite to him because that's who I am. And as soon as I got home from work, covered in mud, he texted me and says, have you had dinner? And I said, I'm covered in mud and I'm making soup and I'm calling it a day. And he said, get cleaned up. I'm taking you out to dinner. And I said, no, thank you. And it never ends. The amount of times he's asked me out to dinner, to the movies, to whatever, I have told him no. I've told him I have a boyfriend. So my only choice left now is to say to him, because if you watched last night's video, and if you haven't, it's so, so important, guys. We are here to discover our individual identities so we can work as a group. When we know our inner self and we know our individual identity, we cannot let people trample it. I don't see a choice right now other than to tell this man, I appreciate everything that you have done for me. If you want to continue to refer clients to me, that's wonderful. If I have clients that need your services, I will refer them to you, and that will be wonderful. But I cannot work with you anymore. It's too disorganized. I have said, I don't know any other way to do this because I've done this like individually along the way for so long, like saying, no, I have a boyfriend. I don't want to do this, whatever. But then I go back to work and I'm in a good mood and I'm joyous and I'm laughing and I'm having a good time. So he takes that as she must like me because I'm joyous and laughing and having a great time. He takes that as she must really like me instead of realizing that it's not, he's a great person. It's not saying that I don't like him as a person, but what he is perceiving that I like him or I'm in love with him or I want to go out with him or whatever, he's perceiving love that's coming from me. That part is correct. But what he doesn't seem to understand is that is my love and care and jovial nature because of my own worked on inner joy. He's perceiving my love for self as love for him. And no matter how many times I tell him, he doesn't get it. So either he does get it and he's just being a jerk, and he's never going to stop asking. This has been going on for a year and a half, but didn't get that intense until lately. So we have to have the courage to speak our truth instead of suppressing it. It's really hard for me. And I think even honestly, a 30-year-old that had been talking to me, let's say I was talking to a 30-year-old for a year, I feel like that even a 30-year-old or even a 20-year-old would have gotten it by now. This is love for self. This is not love for you. You're a great person. You deserve the highest form of love and relationship out there. But it's not going to be with me. And I have said it in all but 101 ways to lose your lover. I think that's another song. But I can't seem to do it. So the only way, and let me know if you have any suggestions, especially from the masculine perspective, okay? I'm asking for that. If you have some common sense ideas or input, that's wonderful. I appreciate that. You will have to put that in the comments after the video post because I don't go back and read those anymore. Oh, hello, James Whitkus. I think you're the only person here I see. Somebody said, even as a dude, we're slow AF. Yeah, but I mean, the dude he's 20 years older than me, right? So it's not like, if we were in our 20s or 30s, I would totally understand it. Excuse me, 1 second. Okay, but we're so not in our 20s, we're so not in our 30s, we're so not in our 40s, okay? We're way above that. So, yes. Anyway, if you have any practical advice on that, it just really sucks because he's a cool person. He even helped me move into my apartment. He's just nothing but a great stand-up guy. But he's internally sad. He refuses to figure out what it is that gives him his own joy, his own fire, his own motivation, and he insists on being around me and texting me all day and calling me. It's like, so, and I know you guys would not deal well with this either. He acts like he's my live-in partner, or he literally acts like the way he talks to me, the way he presents me to people, he acts like I'm his wife or like he's in a partnership with me. It's way over the boundary. I don't know anything else to do at this point other than to just say, if you want to refer me, and I'd be happy to refer you, but this is too organized and you push past my boundaries and you're taking too much of my energy, and I even feel like that you're aware that you are doing it. And so therefore to me, that means it's intentional. I don't know what else to do. I have to believe in myself that I can do this. I mean, it's not like I'm working with them. I'm working with them like 1 day a week. So anyway, it's really important that we speak that instead of just, hanging up on people, writing nasty grams, or, just ending things without speaking up. And it's hard when someone's nice and when you work with them, it's hard to just keep reiterating boundaries over and over and over and over. So, yes. Yeah, that's very true with age. I guess that's possible. But I know plenty of people that have not, especially in the family, that have figured out who they are more and more as they get older, not losing themselves. So I have one last thing that's really important to say, and I'm so hot, I'm not sure if I can even finish this video. There's no air conditioner in the center of the house. It's on both ends of the house, unfortunately. So when we come in here, and if you haven't watched last night's video, please do. I know it's an hour and 9 minutes or something, but it's crucially important for us to speak our truth, encourage, and not suppress how we feel. If you guys would hit the like button, hit the share. I hear everybody's videos that I ever watch say hit the like button. No matter what, I always look at videos, how many subscribers that person has, how many people watch the video, and how many hit the like button. It's never more than 10%, even if you have a person that literally in every video says hit the like button. So there, I said it. Hit the like button. Do it if you want, or don't do it. I guess 10% of you are going to do it, whether I say it or not. But here's the thing, okay? So when we wake up and we're in the middle of a great awakening, we came here for a great awakening. We don't wake up because someone loves us in some grand kind of way. We don't wake up because we see a unicorn galloping through the forest. We don't wake up because we see a leprechaun and find a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. 11, 11, 11 viewers, 11 likes. Well, at least something's balanced out. Good morning. So, yes. We don't wake up by seeing unicorns or leprechauns or rainbows or pots of gold. We all don't wake up in the exact same format. There's not an exact same format, but it is always a negative happening unless it's a near-death experience, but even still, or some kind of trauma, but those are still negative experiences, okay? So if you have a little triangle here, on one side of the triangle, you have negativity. On the other side, you have positivity. So again, when you wake up, it's because a near-death experience, maybe something traumatic happened to you, car accident, a mugging, something like that. It's going to be different for every single person. For me, it wasn't any super extreme one of those things that I mentioned. I kind of had a feeling for a long time. But what happens when we wake up is, and again, different people start in different places. Some people will be like, wow, they're geoengineering the hell out of this planet. They're spraying stuff every day. You might have woken up that way. You might have woken up when you found out about our taxation process and how the government actually works. You might have woken up to the corrupt judicial system. You might have woken up because of JFK's assassination. There are hundreds of thousands of ways you can wake up. But my only point is, it's never a unicorn prancing through the forest that wakes you up, okay? Or someone loving you unconditionally that wakes you up. It's the negative things in physical reality, even that might not be coming from you or your family. Could be just the shady government. It could be the shadow government. It could be the cabal, chemtrails, hundreds of thousands of things that could have woken you up. My point is, when we have this little triangle, this little pyramid, on one side of that, we have negativity. So you have woken up, and so many millions of people on this planet have woken up, and you wake up by having that negative experience and saying, oh my God, what in the HE double toothpicks is going on this planet? And you study it for a while, and then you want to wrap your head around and maybe even talk to your friends and people on social media about how do we straighten this out? How do we fix it? So we wake up initially by having something negative or traumatic, or just a governmental discovery, right? Whatever it is that woke you up, you wake up to the negativity, to the chemtrails, to the governmental corruption, whatever it is, the mafia, the cabal, okay? So you wake up in a negative spot. You understand, or you start to fill in the blanks and research all the negative things that have happened and that are now happening on this planet, all the corrupt things that are happening, right? Okay? Then what do? What you do, depending on who you are and how long you like to stay there, in discovery land, we'll call it. You might not stay there that long. During COVID, a lot of people had a lot of free time to do a lot of internet surfing on everything, from the vax to the indoctrinated education system, the judicial system, the corrupt government. It goes on and on and on. The point is, we wake up in a negative way. And what happens after we study and we go, wow, this planet really does need help. This place is a mess. Maybe someone had been trying to get you to wake up to that before, but no one can wake you up. It's an inside job, right? Kind of like the government. But anyway, you wake up to something in a negative way. You study that, and you study it for a while to realize something to the effect that whatever the medical system is telling you, whatever the judicial system is telling you, whatever the establishment is telling you, basically do the opposite. I know it's a lie. After so much study, you get to that point. And then where do you go within that triangle? You go from the bottom of that triangle on one side, total negativity. Wow, look at this corruption, this scandal that is planet Earth, right? This vampiring, scandalous planet that we live on. And then you go to the opposite side of that spectrum. Then maybe you delve into angels or orgonite or how to offset chemtrails or whatever it is you're doing. So we go from a positive, we drop down a really negative rabbit hole, which causes us to study for some people for 3 months. Some people may have done that for 20 years. I know people that woke up really early, that literally studied things for 10, 20 years, the corruption, the negativity on the planet, right? And when they came out the other side, they're like, well, okay, I just don't take the medicines subscribed by the medical establishment. I just don't listen to the indoctrinated education system, right? So then we go from total negativity over to total positivity. Like, oh, I can change the world. I'm going to change myself. I'm going to write Congress. I'm going to build orgonite towers to get rid of chemtrails. Whatever it is, again, there's thousands of things on the positive side too. You fall down the negative rabbit hole of what this planet has really been for a millennia and who's pulling the puppet strings and what possibly you can do about it. At least spread the word and talk about it and get that shit out there, right? Then you go into the positive side. Okay, how can I work on me? Because working on me means that as an individual means I'm putting out a higher frequency in the world, okay? So we go on a crash course from a rabbit hole of dark, agendic, Kabbalistic mayhem to a completely positive, I can change myself, I can change the world. But when we really can change the world is after we've gotten out of the pit of vipers, which I'll call, studying on the World Wide Web or in books or however you've done it, depending on your age group, okay? You spend so much time studying, you go the opposite direction, you delve into total positivity. Who's helping us? How can I help us? How can I be more joyful? How can I do what I showed up on planet Earth to do, okay? You swung from one polarity to the exact opposite side of the polarity. Where we come in, where our mission is, where our established help is on planet Earth in this very moment is right there in the middle, okay? You've swung down the rabbit hole of negativity and done your study. You swung out the other side to see how you could spread the word, how you could be more positive, what you could do to change your own life and change the world and get the word out to other people. And then when we swing back in the middle and balance ourselves out between those two polarities, that's when we can really, really, really become of service. Now, one of the reasons I'm telling you this is just that it's crucially important. The other reason is I see a lot of people for the last 5 years really judging people on the internet. Like, well, you should understand this, or you should understand that the cabal rules the world, or you could understand that the voting system is fixed and all these things. Okay, I'm not saying that they're wrong. We know that they're right. If you're here, if you're watching this, we know all that information is right. However, it's an inside job to wake up. You cannot open someone's eyes from the outside. They have to do it internally. So we fall down one negative rabbit hole. We learn a lot. Wow, 4. And then we go to the positive side. But when we really come into balance as individuals in that neutral zone in the middle, That's when we can heal ourselves and heal the planet. And the thing that's really important is, do not chastise someone for dropping down to that pit of vipers and studying the cabal or chemtrails or all those things, okay? So I see people doing that all the time. Well, they're saying, well, let's look at the bright side. Let's look at the lighter side. Don't let the darkness win. But you guys, you can't experience the dark rabbit hole, go to the complete other side, to the positive side. You can't do that for someone else. You can't yell at someone or get mad at someone for being in that place, that dark rabbit hole that we've all been in, where we call study. Also, equally as important, and I see this happening every day as well, people picking on the people that are happy, that are saying, well, I know this and this and this is going on, but everything is going to be okay. I know it. I feel it. We have guidance. We have ancestors. We have extraterrestrials. We have all this assistance on planet Earth. And that is true too. But you can't fall down the rabbit hole and learn or study negativity for other people. You cannot push that other person to the positive side. The awakening always starts by dropping down that rabbit hole, by dropping into that den of vipers. You come out and go in the opposite direction. So please, 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 don't pick on people for dropping down into the viper hole and studying. Don't pick on those people that are always positive 24/7, because that's just the ricochet effect of falling into the viper pit. When we crawl back out of it with all that knowledge and realize what we're dealing with on planet Earth, we go to the extreme positive side. And it's just important not to pick up, it's important not to pick on people that have dropped into either side of that rabbit hole. I see that, like I said, on social media every day. You're always happy. You can't always be happy and always be positive and always think everything's going to be all right. But you have to, once you crawl out of that pit of vipers, you have to go to that positive only side for a moment, or 6 months, or 5 years, depending on, we don't all take the same amount of time. We have to let each other do it naturally, organically, and not push people to get down into the viper hole, not push people to pull them out of the viper hole, or push them into positivity, or pull them out of being positive for too long. They will do that themselves. We do it in shifts so that we can assist each other, okay? So if we're all on this bandwidth that's saying, yeah, oh, hell yeah, went totally to the negative depths of hell, the viper pit, got it, went to the other side. Now I know where I can serve. I can serve by looking at both sides and being neutral. You can't serve in a polarity, and you can't pull someone out of the viper pit of study, of anything, of the negative agenda, until they're ready. And you can't pull people out of the positive side of that agenda or that personal space until they're ready. They will bounce back. It is such, depending on your course of study, what you found first and where it led you, how deep down that viper pit you might have gone, okay? We serve when we have studied the negativity, bounced to the positive side, stayed there for a while, and then we go into the middle where we're neutral. We cannot accomplish anything on this planet until we're sitting in a space of neutrality, and that goes for everyone. So please definitely allow people that time to go down that dark, deep rabbit hole. And you can say to them, I know, man, it's crazy. I've been there. I studied all that stuff. And if they want to know how you came out the other side of it, then let them ask. But don't try to pull them out of it until they're ready. Because it's the body's natural progression. The soul that's come to take this incredible awakening journey is going to go down the negative viper pit rabbit hole. They're going to bounce over to positivity, and then they're going to come back in the middle and realize that that's where the clarity is, right? In neutrality. That's where observation is, in neutrality. That's where that light switch really happens. That's where that motivation, that change of direction, that mission, all those amazing things happen after we study, after we try to eat bonbons and watch unicorn movies for a while, or whatever we're doing on that positive side. until we can never let me make soup for you. I'm telling you right now, that was hotter than freaking blazes. I don't know exactly how much pepper I put in there, but it's enough that I've drank 4 glasses of water in the 45 minutes that I've been here. So don't eat my soup. That's actually, it was absolutely delicious, but very spicy. So speaking of spicy, 1414, just don't, just allow people. That's why you've got a bunch of people waking up at, in shifts. If someone's down in that, you know, Kabbalistic study group, let them hang out with other people in that study group. Even if it's your friends or family, um, you know, they'll get out of it just like you did. They'll go to the positive side just like you did, and they'll come back to being neutral. They'll come back to being the observer, and we will all in stages come back to realizing that in neutrality and observation we can, this is where we heal ourselves and heal the world. Okay, so just realize we have basically 3 groups of people right now. We have people that have dipped into the negative side, people that got out of that hole, ran as fast as they could over to the side of the light and want to hold on to that forever, because that darkness is so deep, you guys. If you have studied this, everything from chemtrails to pedophilia, it's a dark, deep hole. So of course they're going to run over to that positive side. But our balance, our action, our forthright movement on planet Earth, and our way of catalytic change on this planet, helping each other, is being not on the negative side of the triangle, not on the positive side, but right here in the middle in neutrality and observation. It's imperative. Looks like a model. How sweet. How sweet of you. James said a magnet has positive on it and negative on it, or light and dark. But it's all about being, and as soon as you said that, as soon as I started to read it, someone commented and it went away. It is all about, see, this light really helps me. Okay, it's all about being in the center point, or that balance point, or that 0 point, where you can access unlimited potential. Yes, thank you for summing up my 50-minute video there, James. If you could just, write my, if you could write that in my description box for me, that'd be great. Just kidding. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you have not watched last night's video, please watch it. It's important. It's important for us to not let the people that are in their own space of lack of joy. It's so important that we don't let people that haven't found their joy, or not interested in finding their joy, or they're just basically joy deficient. Don't let them steal your joy, because then you have to work harder and harder and harder to replenish your energy. Okay, if anybody's looking for tarot reading or any of the other things that I do, you can reach out to me or leave a message on this video after this video has posted, because I don't usually go back and read the comments, especially since I plan on making rapid fire 6-session videos starting tonight. Okay, it's so important for you to speak who you are at a fundamental level. It doesn't mean that you have to be like everyone else, or that it's not okay to be yourself. Your truth is what is true for you, but you have to, bottom line, stand up for yourself. And when you stand up for yourself, you are going to crash things in your life. And again, we're going to do it in the most positive way, of course. But irregardless, even if we break up with somebody, or ask for a divorce, or put our resignation in, even if we do that in the most positive ways, you have no idea how catalytically transforming this is, and how it's not only going to heal you, but it's going to bring balance and justice to your life. 0 point, neutrality, balance, and centeredness is where we get the shit done. Okay, we don't do anything while we're studying the cabal and the viper pit, and we don't get anything done. Honestly, I know people hate to hear that, but honestly, we don't get stuff done by sticking our head in the sand and being in the love and light community all day long either. But first the negativity, then the positivity. It's it's like a sport. It's like tennis, right? You ping from negativity to positivity, and you center, you balance, you get that gravitational pull back to center, where you are the most observant, the most neutral, the most beneficial, and the most messianic that you can be on planet Earth in the time where you were so incredibly needed. So thank you so much for being here. I'm burning up, and I will see you very soon. Thank you. Bye.